The following podcast is a deep, shallow dive production.
Okay, let's go.
Happy Sunday, everybody. On the eve of the kickoff of the NFL season, I thought about doing a quick episode. Actually, hopefully this will be quicker than even the bonus episodes. But what I'm going to do real quick for today is I'm actually going to give you a recap of the first 13 episodes to date. And in case anybody is new to the pod, or honestly, in case you haven't got a chance to catch all of them, hopefully the next 30 seconds on each will give you a little bit of understanding of each episode. And then that way, if you want to go back and listen, you can go back and listen. They're all numbered in sequential order. And let's start with number one. Number one was the first Republican debate. So basically in that episode, I talked about what a complete hot mess that first Republican debate was and gave the hot take that all these guys should drop out and the entire Republican Party should say it's either Donald Trump or there's going to be no election. That would be a power move. Okay, episode number 2. This was basically my debut episode and actually should have been released first, but due to the timing of episode 1, we released it second. And this really just talks about, what got me interested in all of these different topics and what was it that got me to, dive into all this stuff. And it'll give you a little bit of history on me, and I think it's a fun episode, actually. Okay, episode number 3. This one was an introduction to the BRICS Alliance. The BRICS Alliance is the coalition of countries Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And then it also talked about how the new addition of 6 countries, namely Saudi Arabia, Iran, and the UAE, United Arab Emirates, really bring an unbelievable powerhouse when it comes to not only population, but gross domestic product. And now they've got some major oil producers in Saudi Arabia, Iran, and the UAE as part of it. So that's episode number 3. Episode number 4. Okay, this one we talked about demystifying the central bank digital currencies. And really, more than anything, this episode is a really good top line for you to understand what's coming when it comes to the concept of digital currency and moving to a CBDC. Episode number 5. Oh, this was the fun one. This was Ray D's Hackathon Guide to creating your own podcast in 5 days. So with this episode, I really lifted back the curtain and pretty much told you my playbook for how I launched this podcast and all the cool AI tools I used and all the cool companies I used, and hopefully give you a solid explanation of how I did this. Okay, episode number 6 was called Earning Your Ears. Why should you listen to me? And so this is one that I'll keep coming back to because I want to earn your ears and I want to prove to you why you should continue to listen to me. Okay, episode 7 and 8. Actually, these kind of go together. And this was a super interesting, hot, fun discussion. Really not hot, actually, on term limits. And in these 2 episodes, more than anything, I tried to bring out the fact that we've got to look at this and call a spade when it comes to Mitch McConnell and when it comes to Dianne Feinstein, a Republican and a Democrat, 81 years old, 90 years old. Neither one of them should be in the position of power that they continue to be in. And we really have to call a spade, and everybody should agree that we should remove those 2, or they should be removed. Okay, episode number 9. This one delved into the internet, and, it's called Truth or Tall Tales, or both. And it talked about all the misinformation that's possible on the internet, and then really how easy it is for people using all these amazing AI tools and all these incredible technologies that I've talked about, how it's very easy for people to create fake stories and fake news. And this is not even the mainstream media fake news. This is like the lame street media fake news, the knucklehead media fake news. Okay, episode number 10. This one we got a little bit more into that, but we also talked about how this fake news really goes to another level. And this was, again, another bonus episode that built on episode number 9. Okay, episode number 11. This got into media bias, and this was a little bit of a build on fake news, but now we're talking about the real mainstream media. And in this episode, I showed you how how the same exact story covered from the left, the center, and the right literally could be three different stories. And so the media bias and the way they cover it, if that's where you're consuming your news from, you're basically getting their version of everything. So it's kind of like a war of narratives. Okay, episode 12 and 13. I'm going to group these two together because they were an initial DSD and then a bonus episode. These two really talked about the new kids on the block and whether they've got the right stuff. I'm not going to sing, don't worry. But Vivek Ramaswamy and RFKJr. And they both are two guys that, again, whether they deserve to be president of the United States or not, time will tell. But at the end of the day, they both are a refreshing addition to a field of seasoned politicians. And to me, I think it is worth it and absolutely of interest to let some new blood into this game and just have new perspectives like both of these guys are delivering. So if you wanted to get an understanding on Vivek and RFK Jr., those would be two good ones to listen to. Okay, there you have it. There is a recap of the first 13 episodes. And I wanted to just end with stressing, or I guess reiterating, a couple themes that hopefully have been consistent through these first set of 13 episodes and hopefully will remain consistent in your eyes. And first and foremost, that is calling a spade a spade. I mean, that is what I'm all about. That's really how I try to live my life. And then, especially when it comes to this podcast, that was the fundamental reason that I started this thing because I want to call a spade and I want to basically, come to the truth. And when you come to the truth, you have to call a spade a spade. You have to be willing to kind of look at things from all sides and not look at things from, a particular partisan side or something that you're used to. The next thing I did want to say was, hopefully at this point, if you've listened to one or more, or hopefully all of these episodes, I don't expect you to agree with everything I say, but hopefully, again, hopefully, when you think about an issue that I bring up and a perspective and a take that I give you, if you can say, hey, you know what? It's plausible. That's all I'm looking for. Because at the end of the day, when we talk about these issues, they are so complex and they're so divided, and there are so many incredible distractions out there that at the end of the day, when we start talking about something and look for differing viewpoints, as long as they're plausible, I think that puts us in the game. And I think that's a great jump off point. All right, everybody, that is it. 8 minutes, 30 seconds, maybe a little bit longer, but hopefully now you have a solid recap. Hope everyone enjoys their day. Remember to call a spade, and we will talk to you soon.
This episode was brought to you by Boost Liquid Vitamins. Wake up, take your Boost, start your day. Drink your vitamins, build your immune system with Boost. Available on Boost.com.